Hi guys, it's Ray here from City Fan TV. Hi, Blackpool Blue Ray. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Hope you're very well indeed. We're here to talk about Omar Berrada and what he's been saying, guys, about many different topics. He's talked a little bit about Pep's contract. He's talked about Sergio Aguero's contract. He's talked about Messi and what some of the stuff that happened in the summer. Kalidou Koulibaly, some of the stuff that happened in the summer, and other bits and pieces as well, guys. Ruben Dias, was he our first choice? I suspect he wasn't, but what does Omar Berrada say? I've said it all along, what I suspected, but was I right? Was I wrong? Has Omar, what has he been saying? So I think that's going to be a good half an hour or so, whatever we decide to, how long this goes. So I'm just going to pop it onto Facebook. Pep, Koulibaly and Dias. And there's more. I mean, it all just depends on how much I get through, guys. There's actually quite a lot we could talk about. So I made a lot of notes. And we'll see how much I get through. So been a very busy day already. I'll tell you about that in a minute. I'm just going to pop this out onto Facebook to let people have a look at that. And because I've got a few Facebook. If anybody is on Facebook, it'd be nice. Oh, 10 people already in the house. If you are on Facebook, it'd be nice if you could pop along and scratch my head. Pop along and share it on Facebook if you see it. If you're not following City Fan TV, why not? If you're not following City Fan TV, guys, why not? It's been a slow pickup on social media compared to last year. Just need a quick drink while my computer decides it needs to freeze. I've been killing it today, caning it. Done. I'll tell you what I've done before I get into the stream. We've obviously you've seen two videos out already today. One part of what Omar Berrada said about Messi and my thoughts and opinions about that. Also a situation about Pep's contract. So I talked about that. Pep and Aguero's contracts, in fact. And I've just spent the last hour or so, or maybe even more, about an hour, doing a video for the big game on Sunday, and I had two Chelsea fans on there, so it was a lot of fun. Hey, Amber, I hope you're well. Hey, cheers, Blackpool Blue Ray. Yeah, it's Cold. Cold's been working hard and behind the scenes, so it's really good. I mean, I might have to move. Over just a little bit to get more of me in. But it's cool. Just need a drink. Actually waiting for the family to come back. They've been out. Kids have been doing their activities. And then went round to my mother-in-law's. And I'm hoping they're going to bring back some grub for me. It's 8:45 in France. It's a bit later than I'd like to eat. Now it's one of those. If they don't bring anything back, I'll go without tonight. So, guys, how is everybody? I know there's not a lot of people in the house tonight, early doors, but I hope you are all well. So I'm just gonna finish fiddling with my social media stuff. Got to be done, guys. Got to be done. Trying to obviously get the subscriber base up to a decent level. I think 3,000 is even. I mean, we're not even on 3,000 yet, but it's a little bit low, guys. Trying to get that up. So there's not many people on. 10 people in the house, but 9. I wonder who they are. Okay. Well, since no one's since there's a few of you in, it's slow and laggy. at times. Let's see if I can open this full thing from Omar Berrada. Just followed you on Instagram. Hardly ever got. Yeah, thing is about Blu-ray, I don't follow too much on Instagram. I don't. Now that we're not at games, that was the big thing for it on Instagram. Was, you know, when you get a selfie, you do a short video at the ground at the game. You know, I might stick that on Instagram. You know, and you know, we do get a fair, reasonable amount of response. But you know, obviously, not going to games, there's not many pictures you can put up. Sometimes I'll put some links up to YouTube videos. But guys, it's all there for you. I'm just checking. It's all spelt right. Oh, it's fantastic. Thanks, Cole. I've got to be honest, it's the first time I've seen that. That's the first time I've seen that when I loaded it up. Hi, Sayan, Deb, and hi to Faris. Hope you guys are all doing very well. Yeah, we're doing a little push now because, you know, quite a few people who've come on and said, you know, why have you only got not even 3,000 subscribers? Especially people who hadn't been on for like 3 or 6 months. And they said you deserve a lot more, but you don't get the subscribers without having a combination of the content and the draw to pull people in. And yeah, we've changed. You know, we're in the process of changing the thumbnails as well, trying to get a few more people into, you know, to notice us and see if what sort of difference that makes, guys. So the main topic tonight is this. These interviews, apparently all exclusive. You know, the Manchester Evening News has got an exclusive interview with Omar Berrada, and Athletic have got an interview with Omar Berrada. So I don't know how exclusive. You know, if he only talks to one at a time or two, is it still exclusive? I don't know. But is that, you know, they've taught. He's taught. I don't know if they've asked questions. And obviously, because they're with the club, just move my paperwork from this interview I've just done. If they're with the club, then they're not going to either ask certain questions or, if they did ask the questions, divulge the answers to us. Players on, what's this, Faris? Players on national break are at high risk of getting COVID and it will harm clubs. Don't you think it should get cancelled? Yeah, moving from country to country. The thing is, the argument is, they've got these protocols. They've got these protocols, but if you don't, it's obvious. It's so obvious if players don't follow the protocols. Let's look at Phil Foden and Messi. They didn't follow the protocols. Let's look at, whose birthday party? Was it Tammy Abrams? There's players there didn't follow the protocols. So, you know, it's a huge risk. But hey, it's the Premier League, and football is all about money. We can see that it's all about money, guys. We've seen that with this pay-per-view now. Was it from the end of October or whenever it is? The pay-per-view kicks in. So I think you get 5 games over a weekend, or the normal 5 games that they're going to show, and all the other games. Was it £14.95, 15 quid basically? They're going to stream them. It's all about money, nothing else. Okay, you look at the women's game. Man United used to have a team, but apparently they jacked it in because there was no money in it. And they've only come back 2 or 3 years ago because there's money in it now. Well, you know, they can see the women's game. Yeah, Chelsea just broken the transfer record for a player, Harder. They got this summer. So people, they can see where so United can see where the money is. They've come back. They can see it going up and up and up. And they want to be part of that. They want some of the money. FA still treat the women's game with a little bit of contempt. They can see some money as well, but they still treat it with contempt because it's the money that the women's game makes is dwarfed by the men's game. So it's all about money, Faris. Dust, I think Phil was led astray with that. Come on, behave. In fact, I know you're jesting, Dust. I know you're jesting. The thing is, Phil is older. Phil's got a missus and a kid. Cyan Deb. Omar Berrada made some weird statement regarding left-back situation, said we are having enough players to cover it. Strange in your opinion. I agree. So do you think that if they follow the protocol, they were safe? Pharisee, technically, you should be. You'd think so. But, you know, all it takes is one person not to follow the protocol. Yeah. Can you imagine if Phil Foden or Mason Greenwood had caught COVID? Yeah. If they'd got away with it, if they'd got away with what they did, and let's say they'd caught it, then played with the players. Yeah. They were training with them. They were with them for another 3-4 days, whatever. Okay. 5 days, whatever it was. And then they passed it on to, let's say, for argument's sake, half the players that were there. Let's say they passed it on to a dozen, 10 or 12 players. Okay, them players don't know they've got it. And let's say they're asymptomatic, okay, and no one develops symptoms. Them players obviously go back to their clubs, spread it around the clubs. 5 or 6 players in each club suddenly have got, you know, so suddenly from one person, you've got 50 or 60 people with COVID. And if they're all in, you know, yes, they are tested regularly and they will get caught quicker and sooner than others. And then maybe they'll get caught before they pass it on to their families. But you can see how quickly it can spread. Ishak Taraftar, no new news on City buying new clubs. You know, you can think, where could City buy new clubs? You know, you think about it. I've said in the past, Africa is, City have got no clubs in Africa. So, you know, where would you go in Africa? You could go to somewhere like Algeria, I've suggested. Any country in North Africa, you know, Algeria, Morocco, Tunisia, even Egypt. You could look, I mean, Morocco, Omar Berrada's from Morocco, so maybe I don't think he has much say. But you could look at South Africa, you could look at Ghana, you could look at Ivory Coast, Cote d'Ivoire, you could look at Nigeria, you know, countries with you know, decent teams as well. They could look at even New Zealand's a bit small. They've already got Australia. You could look at other countries with big populations, Malaysia or Indonesia, huge populations in Indonesia. So you could look somewhere there. You could go to Brazil in South America or Argentina. And I've already mentioned Mexico in the past. You know, Mexico's big. Even Ikram, Blackpool Blue looks like another lockdown. Yeah, it's pretty much on, innit? Blackpool Blue. Hi, Adam. Hope you're well. It's pretty much nailed on, Blackpool Blue. It's a joke. It's a joke. The way they've treated the North, when they knew there were problems, they should have done a lot more. Anyway, let's go through. Let's see if I can find the notes I made on Omar Berrada stuff. There's one thing he mentioned. Well, it was mentioned yesterday by Ferran Soriano. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. Even he talked about net spend. So much into the psyche now of people. It's so much into fans and journalists, net spend, when I've said it means now. Net spend it has very little value, but it's not good when your chief executive is talking about net spend. You know, he talked about City having a net spend of about 45 million quid. It was interesting what Ferran said as well yesterday, because it gives you an insight into what players cost. And I think he said, we spent X and we sold for X. So he kind of give you the idea what we sold. We know what we sold Otamendi for. And it gives you a pretty exact idea what we sold Leroy Sané for. Ishak, I think they will be. I think they should be. You know, I'm not going to stray on that topic too much, but there should have been an earlier lockdown in the first place when it happened in March. It should have been harder for longer, and we wouldn't possibly be in as bad a situation as we are now. And I don't want, you know, some idiots come out and say you don't know what you're talking about, or you know, I'm expert enough. Married to a biochemist and a family full of doctors, and I do listen to some epidemiologists as well, and I can see what's happened around the world. I can see what's happened in certain countries who have gone harder for longer and kept it tight, and you can see the difference. Anyway, so you know, we talked about the I'm looking at the MEN article. They talked about the planning window. That's done, and if you saw some of the videos I put out today, I said it's done 1 or 2 years early. Yeah, you know, Zach Steffen. What's that, Ikram? Was it a guy or a woman? Was it? There the problem is people just mention City because it's easy, and that's something the media, the journalists have put out there. They said all this rubbish, okay, and people now believe it. So they mention Man City. Well, Chelsea spent a lot more than Man City this summer, but they don't mention a Chelsea. Man United have got huge debt. There's no mention of Man United because the media focused on City, made us a black sheep or a rat. People want to have a pop at City. Sayab, I don't like his statement either. He's acting like everything was in our hands. We were controlling everything in the transfer market, but it's the opposite. Mohammed is confirmed. No, it's not confirmed, Mohammed. It will not be confirmed until January or later. January is when Messi can sign a pre-contract agreement, and it looks like it's still going to happen. That the fee for Dias would run League Two for a couple of seasons. Yeah, Ikram. So what? One of the problems is, it's like we say, it is what it is. Okay. They talk about, the championship and bailing them out. The championship, here's the thing, the championship run at 107% wages to turnover. So for every £1 they have in turnover, they pay £1.07 in wages. So they're paying more wages than they're earning on average. Okay. And that's this, and this, in a football club, there are a lot more expenses than just players' wages. You've got everything else to pay for, the upkeep of the stadium and your travel and everything else, and on all the other staff. So player wages are 107% of turnover, which is absolutely ludicrous. So they've got now to complain about it from the championship. The other leagues aren't as bad, but it's like the corner shop asking Asda to bail them out. It's not likely to happen unless they can see the benefit in doing that. Oh, thank you, Mohammed. It would be nice if you can give me a subscribe and a like, guys. That's it's not what we're here for, but it's always nice to get that stuff. So yeah, I talked about Zach Steffen, and I said we didn't buy Zach Steffen last year thinking 1 year ahead. We were already looking at him 2 years ago. So we're thinking ahead to what's going to happen. We're thinking ahead to what's, when Bravo moves on. We're thinking ahead who is going to come in, go out on loan, and then challenge. 2 years at least ahead, we're thinking on him. Other positions, we're thinking ahead as well. So a longer term approach, okay? Obviously, what happened with COVID hasn't really slowed us down. We're carrying on as if it's going to be all right for next year. Now, this is news. We spend smartly. We have a clear plan. We are not reactive to certain situations. We have a very clear idea of what the valuation is for every player. We've said, and I think it has been demonstrated, that when we think a deal doesn't make sense, we walk away from it. And when we think it doesn't make sense to sell a player because we can have worth, we don't sell. Our transfer plans were done way before the COVID crisis, and we were able to execute them. When you say the optics, we've been saying for many years now that our goal is to be financially sustainable, and we have been financially sustainable, and Manchester City has been profitable. If our net spend is low comparatively to other rivals, I think we're 7th for net spend this season, and it has also been one of our lowest net spends of recent seasons. It's not a reaction to anything. It is part of our strategy. I really wish we wouldn't talk about that. But it looks like net spend is going to be part of the vocabulary now. Ruben Dias, Mohamed, he's a new player, obviously. I like the look of him. I talked to a Portuguese guy who watches the Portuguese league. He's a football analyst, a qualified coach, and he really likes Ruben Dias. There are a few players out there. He said, we were talking about Jules Koundé, that City put a bid in for from Sevilla, and Ruben Dias. And he said, Koundé is probably your man for right now. Dias is your longer-term man who has a higher ceiling. So very exciting. He's only played one game. Got to give him time. So let's talk about moving on. Okay, obviously City spent a lot of money for Ruben Dias. Now, he was kind of asked, or he talked about whether it was better to buy Dias, Kalidou Koulibaly, or Jose Jimenez for more money and earlier in the window. And Berrada said that could have been the temptation, but it wasn't. When you make investments of that type, when you get it wrong, it has significant impact over many years. So we needed to get it right at the right valuation. I've said that all along. It's got to be the right money, right valuation at the right time, but more importantly, for the right player. In the same way, we didn't rush into buying a centre-back last season after not wanting to sign Harry Maguire for that valuation. This summer, we had a very clear idea of what we wanted, and fortunately, we got the player we wanted at the valuation that we wanted. Mohammed, do I think City will win the Champions League before Messi comes? No. Okay, I don't think we'll win it this season. With the striker mid, and this is what Berrada said about the striker and other players. He said with the striker midfield and left-back situations, Berrada says, excuse me, it's very difficult to improve on a squad that contains so many of the best players for their position. Sorry. That's a mix of a cough and a laugh. We believe that we have a top left back, a specialist in Ben Mendy. It's just that. A specialist in Ben Mendy, who unfortunately has had 2 serious injuries that have impacted his career with us so far. But we believe that he's going to be a very important player, who apparently they were trying to flog last summer. Or they would have done it if he wasn't injured and someone would have offered the right money. Hopefully, he'll be injury-free this year and show his maximum potential. Alex, that's Zinchenko, has done an extremely good job in the left-back position. It's not his natural position, but whenever he has played there, he has done a really good job. We won important trophies and titles with Alex playing left-back, and not only that, but with the acquisition of Ake, we now have 5 players that could potentially play in that position. Mendy, Zinchenko, Ake, Laporte is also left-footed and can potentially play in that position, and Cancelo, who did it last season a few times, and in the left-back position. We feel we have more than enough cover there, and anybody that plays there will step up and do well. Not happy about that. That's a bad... it's not actually Blackpool. It's just probably a bad swallow. Let someone will do a little... what's the word? A gif of me saying that's a bad swallow. That's why we don't overpay for players, because we don't want to harm ourselves and then end up like United struggling with Maguire. Look, the other thing is, Faris, if you pay 80 million for Maguire instead of the 60 million you want, that extra 20 million is going to impact you in your accounts for the next 5 years at 4 million a year. And if you do that 2 or 3 times, suddenly you're going to be losing money in your accounts. Hello, guys. Do you know when Aguero will be ready to play? Alexandros, no. He's been training this week, so back for the Arsenal game. Personally, I'm not so sure, but we don't know. So, Ikram, so after international, we should pretty much have everybody fit apart from Aguero. I hope that is the case. I'm not sure Gabriel Jesus, if they're talking 3 to 4 weeks for Gabriel Jesus, and I think Arsenal is too soon because Gabby got injured at the beginning of October, let's say. It's last week, isn't it, that he got injured? So the beginning of October, give him 3 weeks. That gets you to the 22nd of October. So I don't see Gabriel Jesus being ready. Aguero might be ready. I've got a suspicion you'll still see a false 9 against Arsenal. Arsenal Man City's on the 17th, I do believe. A week on Saturday. So today's the 9th. No, 17th. Add 7 to that. 16. Add Saturday, 17th. It goes back. Anyway, let's keep going. It goes back to the decision of, is there any player out there that can play that position better than the options we have? And the answer for us was no. So there was no one who could play left back better than what we had. Okay. Yeah. I'll agree that Ben Mendy is better than David Alaba and Robertson and Chilwell, and I might not like Chilwell anymore, but no, we're satisfied with the options that we have that can play in that position, and it's not something that we are actively looking for, which is different to what we heard towards the end of the window. But you've got to also accept the fact, guys, he might not be totally honest with you, because they've got to keep things. They've got to keep the truth hidden. If you're going to come out and make you got to keep some things hidden. Yeah, I absolutely black people. I don't like the false nines. I like them when you got people like Bernardo Silva, Gabriel Jesus, I don't mind the false nine, Ikram. Okay, if you've got Gabby J, if you've got Sterling, if you've got Bernardo Silva, I don't mind because the work rate is great. If you've got Riyad Mahrez in there, don't work. Yeah, yes, Mohammed, I do spot Man City. That's why it's City Fan TV. So yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that. Here's a bit more what he said. He said, it becomes difficult because we're operating at the very, very top, which is why when you hear people say you have to strengthen this position or that position or replace that player, in reality, all of our players are some of the best in the world in their positions, if not the best. So it's to improve that is quite difficult. Hi, Robert Robertson, hope you're well. Anyway, but City could have spent more. Obviously, we were talking about Messi. So the funds were there. Had the opportunity arisen for a Messi or another extraordinary addition, for instance, and will be again next year. That's what I've said, guys. I have said that. I do get a few things right. They have to be in their position with Aguero and Guardiola potentially on their way, although there's a relaxed feeling, relaxing about both situations. The thing is, they're confident that they've got the players they want. So, you know, they're very happy about that. It talks about the financial fair play. It's a long article, guys. You can go and read it for yourselves. And there's stuff in The Athletic as well, talking about Messi. And they talked about the narrative. You know, he said, yes, there is no doubt that there is a narrative in certain aspects of the media and other clubs to say that we've invested our way to success. Clearly, we have invested in our squad. There was an initial phase 10 to 12 years ago when there was a significant investment in the squad to get the club where it is now, one of the top clubs in Europe, competing at the highest level every single year, winning 4 Premier League titles in the last 8 years or so. There is a narrative. Why that exists, there could be multiple reasons. I think there is a general sense of heightened tribalism generated by social media, the need for constant news, debate, and controversy. Other clubs will have their own perspectives, but we've been successful and we've done it the right way. And now we're in a very strong financial position to continue growing and also to deal with this unfortunate crisis that we're all having to deal with. It's important for our fans to hear from us directly and in terms of the dedication of everybody that is working with the club, from our shareholders, the board, our execs, our staff. We're working really hard and putting all of our competence for the benefit of the club. Whatever happens with the narrative outside of the club about our investment, we've had a very successful window in very difficult circumstances. So the club is in good hands on and off the pitch, and we continue to have a tremendous amount of ambition over not just this season, but the coming years. Fans, anyway. So that's what. Said a lot more. Lots of stuff out there. Faris, the board's job is to do what's best for the club. They aren't supposed to tell us the truth and satisfy us with their answers that might harm the club. Absolutely, Faris. You're absolutely right. That's what I was trying to say. Maybe you put it a little bit more eloquently, better than me. But they're not going to tell us stuff that they want to keep secret. Why would they? They might not come out with blatant lies, but they're not going to go into full detail. Mohammed, we need to win Champions League because we can get 1 billion. I don't think so, Mohammed. Wouldn't be nice to win it. Blackpool Blu-ray. Wonder if Cole Palmer could work as a false nine, but would still rather Delap. Yeah, I absolutely agree. Blackpool Blu-ray. Why can't you use Delap as a false nine? I mean, it sounds a bit daft, but the front three are your false nine. But you could start, with Sterling, Bernardo, and Delap, but they can move around. And that will shake things up because sometimes you're going to have a proper centre forward, and sometimes you're going to have that, Delap might be on the left. Mix it up, make it difficult, make people confused. Yeah. So that's what I mean. Omar Berrada talks about Pep, he talks about Aguero's contracts, and he kind of said, for Aguero, it's up to him. We'll decide at the end of the season. So when you say something like that, then that's not true. You're not going to decide in the next season because City work usually 2 years in advance. Okay, so they're not going to decide next season about Aguero. End of the season. They're not going to wait till the end of the season and then decide. Mohammed, we tend to work a 4-3-3 or a 4-1-2-3. Ikram, we cannot afford to drop points against Arsenal, and that's a big ask. Absolutely, Ikram. No, there's no way. If we drop points against Arsenal, You're dropping points against obviously one of the, all right, Arsenal weren't in the Big Six last year, but one against the supposed Big Six. You're going to give them hope, encouragement, motivation. They might not be a big challenger this season, but I think they're going to be better than last season. They've got Thomas Partey. Everybody's really happy about that. I think Arsenal will be knocking on for top 4. But we can't afford to lose points. We're at home, guys. We cannot afford to drop any more points at home. Would you believe Walker Cancelo against Arsenal? Pretty honestly, I'd have Walker at right back and Cancelo at left back. Ikram, but dropping points against Arsenal wouldn't even be a surprise. That's a scary thing. We need to. Absolutely, Ikram. That's the concern. That's the concern. Every time we played Arsenal for the last few seasons, for 7 games on the bench, we beat them. Okay? 7 or 8 games. And we beat them. They scored 2 or 3 goals in all those games. 2 or 3 goals. We scored 20 in 7 games. Every game we scored 3 goals apart from one where I think it was Unai Emery's first game. I think we beat them 2-0 down at their place. Every other game we scored 3, and then that semi-final came along, we got beat. So, we've had a really good record, but the worry is that you do feel that they can do something to us. Mohamed, is Koulibaly coming? I don't think he's coming anymore because we've bought Ake and we bought Ruben Dias, so I don't think we're going to buy anybody else now. And Koulibaly is too old. Next year he'll be 30 years old. I don't think we're going to go in for him. Ikram, I hope it's not a scrappy win either. We haven't performed well for a full 90 minutes in the league this season. We've run out of steam after 30 minutes. Faris, Arsenal will be a much tougher game. Their game plan will just be the same. If we don't turn up, we might as well just don't show up. Absolutely, Faris. Bye, Mohamed. You're right, Faris. If we don't turn up, any game we don't turn up now, we are looking to get beat. Yeah? We're relying on a moment of magic or a couple of moments of magic. We have to turn up more often than not if we want a chance to win this league title this season. So what else? Omar Berrada, I think it was Omar Berrada, or was it Ferran, talking about the Kalidou Koulibaly situation and said we were never, I think it was Omar Berrada, we were never in touch with Napoli. Okay, this is where I say he's not giving you the full information. He said we were never in touch with Napoli. We were, we were kind of laughing to see how it was playing out in the media and on social media. Okay, pretending that nobody knew what was going on and people were just making stuff up. Now we do know people do make stuff up. We do know that in the media and on social media. People put out a load of rubbish. I had a discussion with somebody about 2 years ago about a video they did on Dybala coming in. The guy admitted it was a load of junk, that story. Okay. But if you put a video out and you can get 10,000 views and make a few quid, you put a load of guff out as well. When there's night to put out or there's something to excite people, and Dybala would excite people, no question about that. If people thought he could come to City, so you put the video, you get your 10,000 views. It's a load of rubbish, and I said so in slightly stronger terms. It's a load of rubbish. You make your money, you move on, you fool, you fool the viewer. You show them a little bit of contempt, show some respect, put a proper video out. And because the thing was, City don't buy in January. Everybody knows that. We bought Emerick Laporte, and that's it. We don't buy in January. So that's another reason that it was a load of rubbish, that story. It was just put out to make money. So Omar Berrada talks about this, about the Koulibaly thing. But the thing is, it's true, apparently. If you believe some of the journalists, City never dealt with Napoli direct. They dealt with an intermediary. That's what was all the papers were saying. So for Omar Berrada can be correct and say we never dealt with Napoli, so we were never interested. But if you dealt with an intermediary who dealt with Napoli and we were interested, so if it was me asking, I'd have been putting it like that. I'd have hoped I would have, been a little bit more forensic, if that's the right word, in my questioning, to say, okay, you didn't deal with Napoli, but did you deal with an intermediary? Guillou, it's our mental, that's the biggest issue. Absolutely, buddy. Forest, we should be able to perform for a full 90 because we got rest and the players got to play games, and I would absolutely take a scrappy win. Yeah, a win is a win is a win is a win. Forest, this season, will with all the teams improving, we should be grateful to take 3 points. Doesn't matter how we get it. Every game will be tough. You're right, mate. Absolutely spot on. Every game this season is going to be as tough as old boots. Yeah. There's no easy games in the Premier League. No easy games. Let's have a quick look at the stats. And it probably won't be too much longer, this thingy, guys, because what we've done half an hour already. Just looking at my stuff here. So, yeah, 36 minutes. So, guys, yeah, you can see it all there. If you are new, please give us a subscribe. You know, you can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and subscribe on YouTube. It would be fantastic. You know, help us to inch forward, inch to that 3,000. Still a long way away, it feels like. Will help us to slowly get closer to 3,000 views, guys. Sorry, 3,000 subscribers. It would be cool. As Pep would say, so cool. So cool, so cool. Let's see what you guys are saying. So I've gone a bit quiet, guys. I'm going to start to wind it up after, we're coming up to 40 minutes. I'm going to wind it up, see where my family are, see if they're going to bring me something to eat tonight. Or am I going to have to go without? I don't think I'll go without. Well, I see someone's unhappy about what I said in one of my videos. I find it quite funny when some people say so. Guys, any more questions, any more comments before I wind up for the night? It's 9:20. I think I've got an early start tomorrow. I always seem to have an early start. My lads have got classes. I've got class at 8 o'clock in the morning. So that's a pretty early start. Going to watch the mighty Fleetwood lose now. See you later, Blackpool Blu-ray. Right, guys, I think that's my lot. Have a good weekend. If you want to watch the women's preview, that'll go out tomorrow at some point. And hopefully I'll come on for a live stream in the evening. And then the big game on Sunday, Chelsea versus Man City. Top of the table clash. Guys, take it easy. Thanks for coming on tonight, Blackpool Blu-ray, Faris, Giyu and Ikram, and everybody else. See you later, guys. Look after yourselves and up the Blues.